I welcome you all in today's session of online capacity building of vocational teachers for using ICT in vocational education. And the topic of today's session is using Google Apps and social media platforms in education. And let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Rizwan. I am working as assistant professor in Department of Engineering and Technology at PSS Central Institute of Vocational Education, NCERT, Bhopal. So, as the topic itself is explaining that using Google Apps, so we are going to talk about various Google Apps and social media platforms, that how we can use all these things in education, okay, for our teaching learning purpose. So, let me tell you that what actually we are going to cover in today's session. So first we will have introductory idea of ICT based education, that what do we mean by ICT, information and communication technology, and how we can use this ICT based tools for education. It means in terms of teaching and learning. And then we will move for the Google Apps for education. So we have various apps provided by Google that we can use for
माइक म्यूट
education.
रखो आप बाकी सारे पार्टिसिपेंट ये बीच-बीच में कहाँ से प्रॉब्लम आ जाती है?
And then we will move to the section of social media supported education, that how various platforms, social media platforms we can use for teaching learning purpose. Okay, so in these three phases we are going to cover today's session. So let's start with introduction to ICT based education. So as all of us know that nowadays computers are an important part of our lifestyle. Okay, so in every domain of our life, intentionally or unintentionally, actually we are depending on some type of computer. For example, somewhere we have laptop, somewhere we have desktop, and even our smartphone or multimedia phone set is also a computer. So it plays an important part of our lifestyle. And especially when we talk about ICT, that stands for information and communication technology. So actually you can see that there are three words in this ICT. First one is information, then communication, and then technology. So let me tell you that what do we mean by information actually. So whatever process data we have or information values we have, okay, those we can consider as information. And next thing is communication. So information, if you are able to transfer from one place to another place through calls or through internet, through email, so that all technologies through which we can transfer our information from one place to another place or one person to another person, that domain will come under communications. And for technology, so of course for information processing and for communication we need some technology. So all these are collectively will build the ecosystem of this information and communication technology. And let me tell you very honestly that not in the domain of education, even in healthcare, even in banking, even in today's online transactions, online shopping, so in various, we can say, domains, this ICT is going to play an important role. So but here we will restrict ourselves, we will focus ourselves that how we can use ICT enabled tools in education especially. But actually ICT, computers, internet are nowadays part of our lifestyle. It is in every domain of our life. Okay, so intentionally or unintentionally we are dependent on this ICT based tools, computers and internet. Okay, so this was the brief overview of ICT. And especially technologies like internet and software, middleware, video conferencing, we can say apps we have, video conferencing softwares we have, and social networking applications, it means social media, and services that enable actually users to access, retrieve, store or transmit and manipulate information in a digital form. That is the backbone of this ICT. Okay, so because if you have some information and if you are not able to communicate from one place to another place, then it will not be so much effective. So information, communication and technology, all these three are we can say base pillars of this ICT, and they should be interacting with each other. If you are telling that we have information but we can't communicate, or if we have information but we don't have technology to transfer it, then of course it will be less effective. So this whole ecosystem will be based on all these three pillars, that is information, communication and technology. So next we will have a brief overview that how this National Education Policy, okay, 2020 focuses on ICT integration into education. So let me tell you that NEP 2020, that National Education Policy, actually stressed the integration of ICT into the education system, and there is a dire need to introduce curricular requirements to fulfill the demand of industry, government and academia. So the main thing is that NEP focuses on use of this ICT, use of these technologies, that will be somehow going to bridge the gap that we have among industry, government and academia. So we can see that our for example, students have completed some course but they are not suitable, okay, for some industry. So there is a lack or there is a gap, we can see. So that gap has to be fulfilled with the help of this ICT integration into education. And the role of teacher especially is changing day by day. So now we are not going directly into the class and just using chalk and talk, we are explaining something. So that is not the today's scenario. Actually, due to the integration of ICT in education, teacher has to be multi-skilled facilitator. It means the teacher should have many of the skills, and the teacher should facilitate the student learning. So who can help the learner and guides throughout the course to increase productivity, quality of curriculum transaction and especially learning experience. That how is the actually experience of the students in terms of learning. So determination and honest efforts of the stakeholders that can definitely remove these barriers, and great teachers like you can contribute a lot to properly utilize ICT in teaching and especially and learning also, to design sustainable and inclusive education system in India. So just we have to keep a mindset that we are also the stakeholders of this NEP 2020, or somehow how we are going to implement the things recommended in NEP 2020, that is going to build a sustainable and inclusive Indian education system. So with this spirit, I am going to move to the next slide, in which actually we will talk about that what are the Google apps that we can use for education. So let me tell you that first one is we have Google Classroom, okay. Then we can use our Gmail service in education also, and we have Drive facility, and then calendar, that Google Calendar also we can use. Then we have Google Doc, Google Sheets, Google Slide and Google Sites. So all these are various apps that we can use in teaching and learning. But here I am going to take only one, that is first one, that is Google Classroom, and you will see that all other apps can be inclusively used in Google Classroom actually. So let me tell you a few basic things about Google Classroom, and then we will switch to Google Classroom environment, and there we will see that how we can use Google Classroom and its various features for in teaching and learning. So Google Classroom is actually an online platform which is a part of Google that enables creating of assignments, submission of assignments, grading of assignments and getting of grades results. So if your teaching is heavily based on assignments, then Google Classroom is the best app. And Google Docs, Drive, Gmail, all these things we can integrate with Google Classroom, and that makes it easy to create classes, distribute assignments, and communicate and stay organized. So overall, you can say that you can organize and control your class properly with the help of these Google apps. Okay. And the best thing about this Google Classroom is that it works both on computer and mobile phone devices. So if sometime, or for some student or for some teacher, if that teacher or student is not able to access computer, so then directly you can use this Google Classroom app in your mobile phone devices. And you can create your assignment at Google Classroom as a teacher. So, and students will do the assignment and submit it back by attaching the required documents, and the teacher then grades the assignment and submits the result. So the simple environment of Google Classroom facilitates that as a teacher you can create some assignment. It means you will put the questions of your assignment there. Students will get notification in their email that teacher has assigned some assignments, and then students will complete that assignment. They will upload the files related to that assignments, and then teacher can access from the teacher's side or teacher's environment, and that teacher can grade those assignments and submit the results. And whenever the teacher will provide you the marks or results, that will also be notified to the students through email, through Gmail, we can say directly, that the teacher has graded their assignment, and now they can get their results. Okay. So, and if a teacher is going to conduct some lecture, then that also can be posted in Google Classroom environment. So a student will get a notification in their email, or we can say directly Gmail, that they will get an email regarding all the things that teacher is going to be announced or post in that Google Classroom environment. So students will log in. At the side of a student, we can say that students have to log in that Google Classroom environment, and then after that they can see their performance, they can access the assignment questions, they can upload their answer for this, that assignment, and students can revise their assignments if need be, better receiving the results. So sometimes students ask that I have submitted some assignment, but sir, I need to we can say improve that assignment, or now I can want to add something in my assignment. So that also can be done easily. So it is very flexible and customizable, we can say. And teachers can quickly see who has or has not completed the work or assignment, and provide direct real-time feedback and grades right in the classroom. So from the side of teachers, actually it will be very easy to manage all these assignment management, we can say, in which teacher can quickly see that who has submitted or completed the work. For example, there will be a last date for submission of assignment. Then teacher can see that if anyone student has submitted that assignment within that last date, before that last date or not, or if a student is submitting that assignment late, then for how many days, how many we can say hours he is that student is late actually. Okay. And directly that teacher can access that assignment submitted by the students, and there only the teacher can directly provide feedbacks on those assignments, and directly the teacher can grade also that assignment in this Google Classroom environment. Okay, so this was brief introduction of Google Classroom, and next what I am going to do, that